All right, in the grass. Okay, my name is Evan Strong. If you know any of my content or anything that I do or show, I focus within shoelacing and clothing and the discrepancies left and right in that, and how those two things pull our bodies out of their natural center line and don't allow them to work how they naturally would, with even rotations left to right and natural balance, function, the way that the human body is designed to be capable. So I always mention that everything throughout any part of the body starts at the feet, because they're the foundation of our bodies. Just like a tree or a building, anything, it all starts on an earth that works off of gravity at the base. So I really feel that I need to talk about in depth why the lacing of shoes is so important. That goes for the tying of the actual knot, but I can do a very simple basic demonstration of the knot tying, saying take the outside over to the inside as I always show, and it'll pull the shoe in its proper direction, right? Outside over to the inside, and then that'll allow our feet to be even because it'll pull our feet evenly. That's something that's more easy to understand. Even over to the insides to allow for internal rotation. But when I say that the lacing is so absolutely important, that's where some people might think, just out of not understanding, well, how come? Why? Doesn't that just cinch the shoe around my foot tighter? And the knot just holds the laces at that tightness? No. So, as I show any content I ever do on any type of clothing, the tags must be removed. I've mentioned time and time again as to why, but they're made out of a synthetic man-made material that your body will try to reject. So no matter how perfectly your foot fits within your shoe or how perfectly your shoes are laced or tied, if you're trying to reject a slippery man-made material, nothing else will ever feel quite correct. So within the lacing, this is my lacing technique, and I've shown it within my content before, how the laces come, as I describe, over to the outside. So as they're crossing, the one that's on top is going outside as it's coming up, okay? On both sides, so they're equal but opposite. Within a lot of running branded shoes, they will be laced exactly wrong. And it's laughable, yet it's literally ruining people's lives. If you watch people running, and if their shoes are laced wrong, as most running shoes are, you'll see people running with their feet just pointed out and collapsed so terribly in. I almost can't believe they're actually running, because the damage that that's doing to your body is insane. I want to just really hit that and sit in that for a second. It's absurd, the actual damage that it's doing to your body. And people normally run to try to enhance their body's capability, which I've gone over in content before, that's a myth, and running for the sake of exercise is not actually really doing anything for your body. I've gone over that, which that's how that is. So everything that I do is just allowing our body to be as close to its natural position while still wearing clothing, including shoes. Yeah. The lacing technique that most running shoes come with actually pushes your arches down. It actually does the exact opposite of allowing room for your feet. It pushes them down. Because when you're tightening, I've shown this, when you're tightening your lace, see how when I pull that tight, it actually, here, I just want to do it authentically. It's loose-ish. If I pull it tight and don't do anything but just show you the shoe, the inside canvas is over the outside part on the right foot. Now the left side, if I pull this tight, the inside is over the outside, allowing room for those arches, just allowing space for the way that your foot is actually designed. There's a lot of bones in your foot, there's a lot of muscles, a lot of ligaments, a lot of tendons, there's a lot going on, a surprising amount. Think about your hands and each little joint or each little bone in your hand. Your feet also have a lot. And they only function the way that they function. I've discussed this before, where there's opinions on how certain exercises should be done, how your feet should sit or stand or whatever. There's only one way your feet function. It's as if, this is an extreme example, but it's good to say, it's as if you're trying to say, you can choose to have your fingers bend backward and grip rather than bend forward. Now that's very extreme and not quite even the same, but as far as how off it is to say that there's certain ways you can decide to have your feet work, it's like saying something like that. It just isn't true. The ligaments connect the bones in a certain way. The bones are shaped and placed in a certain position. The muscles connect to the bones in a certain pattern to pull them in a certain way. Your feet and ankles only work the way they're designed to work. It's that simple. If you're wearing shoes, it's very sad that people brand their shoe as a running shoe, and it is just damaging people's feet. That's all that the shoe is doing, even if you are not running. You just have the shoe on sitting in your chair watching TV with your laces pulled at all to where they're even allowing the top material of the shoe to touch your foot. And if they're tied in a way that is not even, that alone will damage your feet and your ankles, which travels up into your knee joints, your hip joints, your lower back, your thoracic spine, your cervical spine, your rotator cuff, your shoulder rotation, then your hands get affected. Everything, I mean, it affects the entirety of your body. Not even running, just putting those shoes on your feet, sitting in a chair with very minimal weight on your feet. As you can see, when I pulled these tight, it causes the inside to be down, right? It causes it to be over. It just creates a positioning. Also, how I show to start the bottom underneath, that presses down where your toes actually push off to give them their natural shape within the shoe. I have to just be bold in saying my shoe lacing and tying technique is the way to allow your feet to be how they would naturally be to the best of our ability, placing them within something like this. I was walking over here to film this video and I saw 4 people running. They passed me. And I just, as I do now, because I am where I am in my understanding of the human body's natural function and my whole goal being within shoelacing and clothing, I watch people move. I watch the way that their bodies work, because there is a, as I stated, There is only one way our bodies work, and that's the way they're designed to work. So I watch people and I can see, differences in different parts of their body, and I can see what item of clothing that they're wearing that's causing that. Point being, I see all the time people just not being able to function even slightly normal. And it is not their fault. It's not. This technique is a must. Whether I am telling you it or if somebody else does it the exact same way that I have done without even me showing it to them, regardless of who's saying it, where it's coming from, it has to be done to any shoe because of just the way that the rope, which is all a shoelace is, that is it. The way that it causes the shoe material, regardless of what the material is or what type of shoe it is. If it has eyelets, the way that eyelets are traditionally on the sides of shoes, pulling the sides together, that's the only requirement for my technique to work for any shoe, to allow your foot to be as close to natural as it can. If you are not doing this, you will be foam rolling parts of your body that are not anywhere near your feet because of your shoelaces. You will be stretching parts of your body that aren't anywhere near your feet because of your shoelaces. You will have neck tightness. If your arches are being pressed down, you can't open your body into internal rotation. As I talk about always, internal rotation, which does not look like this, it looks like this. Because if you're sitting watching my video and I make the claim that most humans in 2024 cannot get into internal rotation, you might be sitting in a position like this and say, yes, I can. Well, sit straight, put your shoulders back, and see where you can get, because it's a fake internal rotation. Because you can't do stuff in this position. You have to be in the position that your body works in. We don't get to tell our bodies. I don't, he doesn't, she doesn't get to tell anybody's body how it works. There is one way that it is designed within our own differences, within our individual bodies. Yes. Yes. It's about natural strength. It's about our bodies doing what they would naturally do. I've mentioned just in the past week making content for the sake of this time period right here as of now. Today's the 20th of August, 2024. I do zero exercise. Nothing besides walking. Zero exercise. No stretching, zero, nothing. As of the past months, around 6, okay? For context of this. Now, I can't even guarantee on how well I will be able to do this kind of stuff, but I like to show demonstrations out of pure authenticity, out of pure openness, out of pure honesty behind what I just said. I do not exercise, and it's not just that I'm skinny. It's not just that I am naturally more capable than somebody else. In some cases, those things play into it, yes, but if you do not allow the foundation of your body to work proper, the rest is almost like damned to destruction, honestly. As I mentioned, people are destroying their bodies, going on a run to try to do whatever they think is coming from their run. So I'm gonna take a second and let my knees kind of relax after sitting like that. And again, I haven't done any of this kind of stuff in a long time. The only reason I'm showing this is to show the positioning. Because do you see how my feet can be out like this? And I've shown in very, very great detail the way that the actual foot and ankle functions in correlation with the leg and the hip and internal rotation, which is actually an opening of the hips. I have shown it in great detail. If the laces are not allowing that arch to come up, that's why you see people when they're sitting, they can't do this because their feet are being pushed like this. So people will be sitting and they can't hold themselves up. You'll see big bodybuilder dudes that have a lot of muscle mass, way more than I do currently, a lot of muscle mass, but they can't even lift their own shoulders. It starts here, because now you've got cramping here and everything up travels up in a bad, incorrect pattern. If your feet can open up, now you can sit like this, but you could sit like this, and you could just balance, and you could just work and move and do crunches like this. That doesn't require strength beyond what our own personal situation naturally allows. So that's why when I show stuff like this, again, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do anything. It's not about my capability other than, oh, also, it's good to see the scapular motion. People talk about scapular winging, and in certain uneven, imbalanced contexts where one is winging and the other one can't move because there's a twist within the spine, that's one thing. But even scapular motion, the ability to raise your scaps, but also get them completely against your back and get in a good posture, internal rotation versus external, that's all very essential to have, and something that we would naturally have within our own situations. So the reason I'm going to show this, again, I don't know how well I will be able to do this, but it requires an internal position of the foot, which is an up and in. That's what the lacing is about, and that's why you tie them over to the inside to pull your entire leg into the socket of your hip in, which is open. Okay? So if I were to try to do this motion with my shoelaces laced incorrectly, my arches would not be able to open up and pull everything into my center line to allow core activation. Okay, I'm gonna try to actually do this well. I have no idea how that's gonna turn out, but we're gonna try this. So if I try to go like this, the only reason again that I'm doing this is so you can watch, my feet will be like gripping inward and my hips will be opening into internal rotation of the femurs. Oh, like that. You can kind of watch, if you can see my knees or just my femurs at all, you can watch when my hips come up and open, my femurs rotate in. And see, if you can see my feet, that would be ideal. That's what I'm trying to show is my feet, right? In order for my hips to open, my femurs rotate in and my feet rotate in like this, but an opening of the arch and in, right? This position is what you're kind of trying to look for within this motion. I'm honestly already fatigued, and I don't even know if I could do this if I wasn't fatigued as of right now. So I'm just going to try to see what I can do. Watch the positioning of my body, not that I'm showing strength, the positioning that is required to be able to even do this kind of natural function. Okay, watch like my feet, like this kind of position. Ready? Yeah, I can't do it right now. Point being, in order to, and I've shown this kind of thing before, how it's an up and in of the arches. Okay, see my femurs are rotating in, my arches and my ankles are rotating in, but my hips are allowed to open. So, yeah. I was expecting that would probably be the outcome, that I couldn't even do that right now, but the reason I like to show anything with the upper body is because I think this is an important thing to mention. If you did not have feet, your feet could not affect the rest of your body. But I've mentioned before, your muscles have to stem from somewhere. And there's muscles that come from clear up in here that go all the way into your foot, right? I mean, that's what your calf muscle is. It allows you to, you know, either dorsiflex or plantar flex your ankle. So if you didn't have feet, these muscles will just end right there. But since you do, if they get in a bad position, push down arch, foot going out, I can't even sit in this position and look at the camera. But if my foot's in and up, internal, I mean, I can just get up and I can just move and function. I personally could not do that in this position. I can't. As of right now, you're watching it. I'm not exaggerating it. You have to get internal and on the arch, the outside of your foot, and then you just have natural strength. So yeah, I think the reason why I almost don't have that fluent of words in this video is because there's so many people who run or do any kind of exercise or just wear shoes with lacing being incorrect. And I don't know what to do about that as far as how can there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people playing soccer right there. Almost guaranteed their shoes are laced wrong. Guaranteed every one of them will go home and be sore. I've mentioned, at least as of late, I do not get sore. I could go play soccer with them for a good hour or two and not be sore tonight and not wake up sore tomorrow or the next day because of this. So how do I relay this to everybody? That's the thing. There's other things within the clothing that also play into my ability to not be able to not get sore, but this is the biggest as far as it's a prerequisite. It puts me in this kind of like, almost like, it's almost an obligation to share this with as many people as I can. Just that natural ankle function, because if people will go up to a soccer ball to kick it and their feet are already being pressed down, so they're standing like this a lot of the time rather than standing active, and you go to kick the soccer ball like this, so much incorrect. See, I can't even balance like that. I mean, I could balance like this all day and show you muscles and do all this and whatever in a good, proper internal position. But if I'm trying to show something incorrect, it throws everything within my body off. I mean, I want to hit home the amount of natural balance that we have. I don't know, not out of a showing off, out of a, like I said, I want everybody that can possibly hear this to know it. It's the 20th of August, 2024. Standing, straight, even, working, moving, balance on the right foot, balance on the left foot, and you can adjust. But it's not like something's gonna happen to your body if you go on the outside of your foot, because that's where you should naturally be. So, I don't know what to do. This is just like a raw, authentic video. I mean, this kind of stuff I could never do when I was exercising, working out, trying to build strength, trying to build functional strength, with my shoes laced incorrectly and tied unevenly. So, It is a little bit of a generalized term when I say running shoes, because just about any athletic shoe is laced incorrectly. So I kind of just encapsulate shoes meant for doing like sports as running shoes when I talk about it. Yeah, my body is so open but relaxed, which is something that within your own body's things, every single human can get to through this. Other things like the tags, which I always say to cut out of everything, and the seams and the sizing of clothing that I've shown and that I will continue to make content about as needed, yet it's so natural. I'm not trying to balance. There's no thought. If anybody ever gives any advice to say consciously think about X while you're doing X as far as the function of your body, that is absurdly terrible advice. Your body does its thing. You don't tell it what to do. I don't tell mine what to do. There should never be a conscious, like, I'm balancing, let me make sure that I'm doing it well. My body will do what it does if I allow it. It is so important. Like, there's also no fatigue. It takes, I don't know if I could say no more effort, but that's how it feels. Very closely, at least. It's not more effort to stand on one foot than it is to stand on both feet. When your body is being allowed to function to the best of its own capability. I mean, I get my eyes closed. I mean, that makes it a little more difficult just because your visual sense helps in balance. But, I mean, it's just a casual working of the body. It is these shoelaces. You can see how it hits me. I want to help through something that is a one-time fix. Relace them, then every time you tie them, just make sure you're doing it evenly. The exact same knots, just start from the outsides on both sides and come over top to the inside. That's it. It's just absurdly simple. If you can see, my left leg is really swollen compared to my right. I also got stung by a bee and I got a lot of inflammation. There's quite a bit of pain, honestly, like all through in here right now on my left leg, and I'm still doing this stuff. I am on my right leg for this part of it, but the only reason I show my own body in examples like this is to show within your own situation what can happen through the simplest fixes, because that's how I've gotten to this point. I want to do more demonstrations of just natural function, but again, it's not as if I'm showing any kind of routine, any kind of exercise, any kind of anything. There is just a natural way we work, as if we were just, within being modest, if you had nothing on you to restrict your body at all, the way that it would just do its thing. That's just about where I get clothing within what I show. It's just too easy to believe for a lot of people at first. So that's why I feel that this video is okay to just kind of sit on this for a bit like this. Your hips need to open, and they cannot if your arches are down. It is impossible because of the actual function of the body, the way that the bones are connected and the musculature attaches to them. That is all that it is. There is a natural working position that does not need thought. Your body does it. We just need to stop restricting it. That's it. I mean, there's so much like motion in the hips. I am not a martial artist. I do not stretch, none of that. But there's just a natural like ability to just move and function and work and get low, get mobile, have a lot of motion in the ankles and the hips that is so healthy. Some of these positions that you might never want to be in, they're just thought process wise because of what you feel or what people have told you that is false information. All that's so natural. It's natural to work and to function and to move and to just get low, get open, to bend and to reach, to get in a low squat with your back in a decent position, in internal rotation. It's the shoelaces. At least that is the foundation and probably the biggest impact-wise thing within what I show. I want it to be so clear how real this is. The reason I'm saying that way is because within the past year and a half, since I started trying to find the right technique, and since I started getting my own body into much closer of an alignment as where it is now, I have shown people this and they have laughed. It seems a little bit weird, okay, but your life will change. You'll just be able to move, function, be quick, be active, be open. You will be able to sleep better. Your waking life will be better. You will not get sore. Pairing it with cutting tags out of everything and some of the other things that I show in my content, but none of that will fix anything if you don't do this. It's that simple. It's that simple. Just most people's feet don't work anywhere near normal because they are trying to within something that we've made and placed on it in a poor position for our feet. That's it. That's all. No exercises, no sales pitch, no routines, no further things to do. This, and it's a fix. I do it. I'm the guinea pig in this. I am the example. It's that easy. Anytime you see ankles going in rather than like this, you should be on the outsides of your feet. And I've shown this, but I'll reiterate, you have to get your foot up and out, which is all that lacing is doing. Because then you can get here, or you can get here. You can stand and just hold your hip flexor naturally with strength. And you can do it on the other side naturally with strength. Internal, open arch, open hips, breathing, moving, standing, mobility, natural human function. It's so simple. Too simple for some people to believe, as is Moses' serpent on the pole. But it will change your life. an opening, internal, active core towards the center line, toes pointing in, slight. There's only one way your body works. I can't tell it how to do it, and neither can you. And this just allows it to. I could probably do a gainer. It's been a long time, but my left leg's really swollen, and also I might fall on my face if I were to. But especially today, even with this going on, I feel extra open, extra capable, extra mobile. And I dreamt about that for years, trying to do movements that I felt like I should be able to, and no matter how much I stretched, how much I exercised, how much I worked out, I never could actually do what I felt that I should just be able to do naturally. And now I can. I want that for everybody that can have it. That's why I'm in this position in front of the camera right now. I'll give a visual that's very clear to see. It looks like this, okay? This is how it's laced. Now this is my left foot. Right foot is the exact opposite for the other side of the body. It looks like this. That's how it's laced. When we tie, take the outside over the top of the inside and tuck it underneath. And you take the outside over the top of the inside and tuck it underneath. Just an even foundation. Obvious if you're thinking about something needing a foundation to be stable, but a little bit too far-fetched for certain people, at least at first, when I talk about the laces in their shoes. Okay, my name's Evan Strong. I make content like this. Stick around for more. The only reason this video is as long as it is because I'm trying to really give you an actual visual proof that this does what it does. And that can't necessarily be proven through a camera from me being where I am and you being where you are watching this video. But I'm trying my best because it's that simple. Tags out of every item of clothing. Lace and tie them with my technique. Yeah. It hits me really hard to realize that people won't even try it. And then they'll go through their days complaining about back pain, knee pain, hip pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, sore feet at the end of the day. And I said, this will change your life to the degree that it will change your specific life, but it will change your life. So you can keep living with pain that is being caused by this, or try it. Try it. I've mentioned it will feel weird at first. A lifetime of unevenness, now being centered, is different. But this is correct. This is the most, like, humbled I've felt in one of these videos. Like I said, today I feel extra mobile. Your hips have to open. They're the center. Whether you're hinging from the top or you're hinging from your legs, your hips have to work decently, properly, for your body to work decently, properly. And they cannot if your shoes are laced and tied incorrectly. Sciatica pain, anterior pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt that are excessive, thoracic spine pain between your shoulder blades, neck pain, shoulder pain, rotator cuff problems, ankle pain, foot pain, knee issues, plus a whole lot of other things will just about be entirely fixed by this, paired with cutting the tags out of everything that you wear. I don't know how we're even allowed to have it that simple. My life has been changed. I mean, like, I don't know how to explain. I guess a lot of people don't have context of where I was, but I used to be in a lot of pain. I used to have posture that didn't seem like there was any way I could even make it close to